Today we're having a casual chit chat about healing timelines. We've got half a cup of coffee with me. This is my oatmeal latte that I make. Today is Saturday, April 12th, and we are doing an episode all about healing timelines. I want to talk all about your healing journey, what to expect, and how long your healing is going to take when it comes to your symptoms. I actually recorded a podcast episode maybe a year ago where the episode was all about how long it would take to heal. Now, I wanted to bring this conversation back because it's a very common question that I see often in usually the people that I hop on discovery calls. They often ask me, can you guarantee that I'll start seeing healing? And do you know when I'm going to heal? And that's a very hard question. It's a very loaded question, first of all, because there's so many factors when it comes to healing. And I want to have a casual conversation about this because I want to clear up some of the question around this, when healing is supposed to happen and the expectation when it comes to healing, and also giving you guys a little bit of tough love when it comes to it as well, because we just don't know when healing's going to happen. And I want to just have a deeper conversation about this. As you sip your cup of coffee, I'm sipping my cup of coffee, and then we can get into it. So the big question, can you guarantee that I'm going to see healing? Now, as a practitioner, registered dietitian, even doctors, even your dermatologist, they shouldn't be guaranteeing healing. If anyone is saying to you, yeah, for sure, you're going to see results, I don't know if I would trust that person because there's too many factors to consider without knowing the person's case for anyone to really say, okay, yeah, you're definitely going to see results. And I wouldn't trust that person, honestly. The reason why I'm saying this is it's not that I don't think that people can heal. I absolutely think that people can heal, but there are just too many factors to consider. Your body, your genetics, your environment, your stresses, like we cannot guarantee results. And if anybody is really saying, absolutely, I guarantee that you're going to be completely healed, I would be weary about that. I would be skeptical about people who are promising results. I'm not saying that it's not that we can't help you or we can't see healing for you. I absolutely do. I see healing for all of my clients as long as they do the work. But again, everyone's body is very different. We don't know if you're going to follow the protocol. We don't know if you have other root causes and your history and your environment that might be affecting your healing. We're not God. We can't just say, yes, you follow this protocol and you're absolutely going to heal. Not to forget, as regulated practitioners, and first of all, not everyone is regulated in terms of their profession. So as registered dietitians, we're regulated by a governing body. We have a certain code of ethics and ethical practice guidelines that we have to follow. And with our code of ethics, we actually cannot guarantee results. And we could technically lose our license if we start promising our clients that, yes, we're going to see results. We can actually lose our license if we start making claims and they don't actually happen, right? We can get in a lot of trouble for that. That's another reason why most regulated professions will never say or shouldn't say that they can guarantee results. So that's just one thing I want to mention in case you guys are not aware of why. If you've hopped on a discovery call with me, I do say, I cannot guarantee results, and I'm very, very transparent when it comes to that. But that's the reason behind why we say this. It's because we're regulated and we cannot just promise results. If you go to a health coach or a nutritionist who doesn't have a governing body regulating them, maybe they could say that. Maybe they could say, oh yeah, for sure, you're going to start seeing results, guaranteed. But even if they're unregulated, I would still be kind of skeptical about that, about people promising healing. So besides the ethical part of why we cannot guarantee results and tell you exactly when you're going to see healing, now it's all about your healing journey and your body, right? Us as practitioners, we do our best to create a protocol that addresses your root causes. We do our best to conduct a clinical assessment where we look at your body as a whole. We look at your gut, we look at your skin, we look at your stress levels. We do our best to really understand your body. But at the end of the day, we can guide you, support you, educate, assess, provide all the tools, all the resources. You take this protocol and you follow it, but I don't actually see exactly what's going on when you're doing the thing, right? I don't know your consistency. I don't know if you're complying to the supplements and the protocol. I don't know if you're working on your mindset. I have to base it off of what you tell me. Healing is up to you. It's not up to the practitioner. We are not the ones that are healing you. Who is actually healing you is yourself. yourself. And that comes with doing the things that us as practitioners recommend you, but we can't force you to do the things because we're not in your body. So what I'm trying to say here is that there are variables that we as practitioners cannot control. We cannot control how often you practice mindfulness. We cannot control how consistent you are with your supplements. So these are the things you really have to think about when you're like, okay, can she guarantee results or can he guarantee results? Well, are you going to do the work? Or you're just going to say you are and then fall off, right? Because that can impact your healing and when you're going to heal. So client compliance here is super, super important. And life happens, right? Sometimes you can be consistent with your diet and supplements and your mindset and working on the mindfulness. And other times you can't because maybe you're a busy mother, maybe you have a high demand job. Life happens. You can't always be consistent and that's okay. But what that might mean is that maybe you won't see healing fast because you're being realistic with your healing journey and with the things that happen in your life. Outside stressors is also huge. You could eat well, you could take the right supplements and have an amazing protocol. But if you have this ongoing chronic stress that you've been used to and your body's been conditioned to being in stress, that could take a while for your body to shift from chronic stress into a state where you are more calm and relaxed. And usually people who are more stressed and they're used to that kind of lifestyle, healing takes a little bit longer for these kind of people because they don't even know how to regulate their stress. And that is a whole healing journey in itself. A lot of things to consider here when it comes to your healing timeline. The body also doesn't heal on demand. So you don't just tell it, oh, I want to heal right now because I'm doing the things. You have to heal. Even with the right tools, healing only happens when your body feels safe, when your nervous system feels regulated. So it's a constant journey, right, with your healing when it comes to the things that you're doing with your diet and your supplements and your lifestyle, and then also your body actually having the space for all of that to happen. And all of that takes time. It doesn't happen within a week. It doesn't happen within a month. It can take 3, 4, 5, 6 months, even longer, but it depends on the person again. The other thing about healing timeline is if someone tells you, I guarantee you're going to heal within 3 months, but then 3 months comes and you don't see healing, that's going to be very, very devastating and disappointing, right? You feel like you were promised something and you didn't get it. And then you're going to feel like you failed. You're going to feel like you did something wrong. You're going to feel like you're never going to heal. And it's a whole other stressor when you give yourself a timeline and you don't achieve it. There is a lot to consider. And I hope this episode kind of gave you a lot of clarity in terms of your healing timeline and why us as practitioners, we cannot guarantee healing. Though I do have to say, I truly believe that when you do the work, when you're consistent, when you follow the protocol, when you regulate your nervous system, you will see healing. When you give your body what it needs to heal, it only has one direction, and that direction is healing. Are you going to experience flares during the process? Absolutely, because that's part of the healing journey. You will flare, you will notice symptoms, you will have days where you don't feel great, and that's all part of the process. It doesn't mean that you're not healing, it means you're actually on the right track. So if you take anything away from today's episode, I just want to remind you that while you want to know exactly when you're going to see healing, unfortunately, we don't know. That being said, I'm confident that you will see healing as long as you're putting in the work and you're doing what you're supposed to be doing in terms of your healing, then you're definitely going to heal at some point. We cannot control the outcome of our actions, but what we can control are the actions we take to help heal ourselves. Remember that healing is a journey. You have to take different steps. You got to do different things. You might have to pivot, make changes to your protocol, and all of that can take time, and that's okay. At some point, you're going to find what's best for you, for your healing, whether that is doing it on your own. Hopefully that, won't take too long, but maybe you work with a practitioner that can actually help you streamline the things that you're doing, make things easier for you. And that is actually when you're going to start seeing faster healing. Release the control of when you want healing to happen and start believing that what you're doing right now is healing you. And if you're not doing that thing, then maybe this episode is a reminder that you got to take action first before you start thinking about when healing is going to happen. I feel like I have so much more to say about this topic. Each of the reasons why we can't guarantee healing or promise a timeline, there's more to it as well, but we'll just leave it at that. I hope it was helpful. I hope it helps you reflect on your own journey and take some of that pressure off of yourself, and also look deeper into your healing as well, because like I mentioned, there's so many other factors that can contribute to your healing timeline, whether it's deeper root causes, stress, your environment, like there's so many other things that can impact your healing. If you have any more questions and you want to dive deeper into this topic with me, I'm happy to have a conversation on a free discovery call. This discovery call will help me understand more about you and your history and your case, and that way we can talk about, okay, what does your healing journey look like? What could be the things that we need to work on? And that will give you an idea as to how long it might take. And so I would love to help you with that and kind of just understand you a little bit more. You can click the link in the show notes below to fill out an intake form, book a free discovery call, and we will see you in the next episode.